2 seconds. Right, good morning, guys. It is 11:53 on Tuesday, the 6th of August, 2024. And to be honest, I should have started this video a little bit earlier because it would have helped to make my the point that I want to make today that little bit clearer. But before I get into it, let me just point out that this is an 8-year financial independence journey slash experiment slash attempt to try to either prove or disprove the FIRE method using exchange traded funds. And in that journey we have completed 2 years and 18 weeks up to the present time. Now, I'm just going to draw attention to the shape of the curve on screen there, and I'm going to ask you the question. Who in the right mind would invest in that? And then I'm going to tell you straight afterwards, actually, you're being played. Yes, the market did drop by that much in the past day or two. But what is it that you're actually looking at? What I am currently showing on screen is it's not false, but I have deliberately made it look bad, if that makes sense. So I mean that curve, that graph, without reference to the scales at the side, doesn't really tell you very much because you don't know what time frame you're looking at, and you can't really tell what the values are. So, and the other thing, the reason I say I should have started it earlier is that, in fact, if you look closely, you can see that the current market price is back up here. So obviously at one point it was down here, but it has increased by almost 1% today from where it was. So, as I say, you're being played slightly. There are people running about talking as though the sky has fallen in. And yes, there has been a slight pullback in the market. I would call it a correction. It's certainly not a crash. And as I say, we've seen nearly 1% recovery already. And it's not even time for the US markets to open yet. The first that I was aware, because I'm just trying to think back to what was the catalyst for this, but the first that I was aware of this event, if you like, was when I read something talking about Asian markets having fallen allegedly dramatically. I'm not entirely sure why they did that. I think it had something to do with bonds, if I remember rightly. But as I say, what we're looking at here is not a crash, it is a correction. Now, let me move the scale around a little bit, and it will hopefully make a little bit more sense when you see it adjusted to a kind of more familiar looking chart. So that is kind of more like what you would be used to looking at if you are a regular viewer on the channel here. So we're going right back to 2020 here. You can see the COVID effect and then the V-shaped recovery. And then you can see the instability at the time of the start of the Ukraine war. And then you can see the recovery that kind of took off after that. Let's just stretch that out a little bit more that way. And then, as I say, in the past couple of days, you can see that there has been a pullback But after that pullback, today we are seeing a recovery already, and the market is plus 0.91% as we speak. Now, in terms of the portfolio itself, currently the current market value is sitting at £78.28. That's just changed, 78.25. Currently we have 218 and a half shares, and the current portfolio value is sitting around about 17,100. And the return on investment is currently back down at 16.75%. So of course it had been over 20. So there has been a few percentage points of a drop. But we're still in the green, to the tune of roughly 16.75%. Current average purchase price £67.1. And with that said, guys, let's go ahead and put in our weekly purchase order. Oh, that's the wrong one. I hit sell. My apologies. Buy for purchasing. So we're going to buy £120 of the Vanguard S&P 500 exchange traded fund, seen here on the Trading 212 practice platform. And if you have been following along recently, you'll know that the last time or two, I don't think I was able to buy quite the 1.5 shares, but today it's looking as if I might be able to buy roughly 1.53 shares on the open market. So I am going to go ahead and submit that as a market buy. And let's see what we get. So yes, we got 1.533 shares, and the price paid was 78.25. So that's fair enough. The figures have adjusted to take account of that new investment, and as you can see here, we are currently shown as owning 220 shares, with a new portfolio value of 17,220, return on investment 16.6%, and new average purchase price 67.09. So guys, just to reiterate some of the things that we would have said in the past, when you do get a market correction or a bit of a pullback, like what we're seeing here, it is actually an opportunity, in essence, to dollar cost average. So in other words, basically an opportunity to well, effectively to get a bit more for your money. As you saw there, we were able to buy 1.53 shares as opposed to less than 1.5 shares last time. Now that said, because our portfolio is still in the green, we are still dollar cost averaging in the upwards direction. But had the portfolio really crashed, had the market really crashed, and taken price below my average purchase price at that point, then we would actually have been able to dollar cost average in the downwards direction and pull the average price below the point that it is currently sitting at. Now that said, when you have a portfolio value of 17,000 and your investment is only a matter of £120, the amount that you can influence the average purchase price is very slim. It's a matter of maybe 10p or something like that, just depending on how big the gap between current purchase price and the average purchase price. So there are some limitations to it. I just want to point out as well that there is a link to a video from the Choose FI channel in the description for this video, which I think is well worth a watch. I have chosen a particular point in the Choose FI video. It features JL Collins, and he is talking about time in the market as opposed to attempting to time the market. And I would encourage people to have a watch at that. Get yourself some peace of mind. I think it's well worth doing. Now, let me just have a little look and see if this is going to work for me. That's not what I intended to do. There's a couple of things. Yeah, so that's the video that I'm talking about there. Have a watch at that. As I say, the link is in the description. If you want to find it without actually going through the description, if you go to the channel homepage, scroll down to where the playlists are, and I would recommend that you have a look at these anyway. So if you go down to where the playlists are, you'll see one called Financial Education, and if you hit View Full Playlist, that will take you into the list, which includes the video that I have sampled essentially there, and it's this one here. It's the third one, JL Collins Q&A 284 on Choose FI, author of The Simple Path to Wealth. So there you go, and as I say, there's how many have we got there? 35 videos on that, especially curated for viewers of the channel. Some of the some of the titles there. What the very first one: What financial experts won't tell you about money. Then underneath that we have Dave Ramsey with This is the Secret Millionaires Don't Tell You. Further still, we have Elderly Woman Falls Down While Delivering Domino's Pizza. Now there's a particular reason why that is in this playlist. Then you've got Damien Talks Money with Signs You're Doing Well Financially, even if it doesn't feel like it. There is one called The Retirement Gamble, a full documentary from Frontline PBS. Then you've got The $1 Billion Scam, BBC World Service documentaries. The Afford Anything podcast, that'll be by Paula Pant, and she's talking with Bill Bengen about how he discovered the 4% retirement rule. Then you've got That Finance Show, and he's talking about the Vanguard Life Strategy funds, and he suggests that that could be the only investment you need, irrespective of whether you're a beginner or an expert. I would consider, I would suggest that everybody watch these and consider what these people have to say, because there's quite a variety of people here. If you're interested in doing a bit more research, Nisha suggests 6 life-changing personal finance books you must read. Obviously that was 2023. And then there's another one from a year ago from That Finance Show talking about the new state pension for the UK. So yeah, as I say, guys, it's really as far as I'm concerned, at least, I have done my best to curate these videos on finance and investment for you. They're under the financial education playlist on the YouTube channel, and I mean, there's 5 minutes where you've got Jack Bogle, founder of Vanguard, explaining why gold is not an investment at all. And I would really encourage everyone to watch that, because I cannot see how anybody could fail to agree with him when you hear his logic set out as clearly and plainly as he is able to do it. And yet, virtually every day I see people online on social media channels pushing investments in gold, cryptocurrency, and all these other sorts of things, which, in fact, to be honest, I think there was a move to have cryptocurrency basically defined as gambling in the UK Parliament not that long ago, and I think it's fair to say with good reason. If you really understand what cryptocurrency is, and let me say that the clue is in the name in terms of it being currency, it's difficult to make an argument for it as a investment. Normally an investment, if you look up a definition for an investment, should be something that should provide a return based on the growth of an asset, as opposed to a differential exchange rate, as you might expect with foreign exchange. But anyway, with that all said, guys, let me see if I can jump back to the other tab. There we are. And before I close, I just want to have a quick look at the notifications since we were last here. So that's the purchase that we've just done, 1.533 shares. Biggest stocks before earnings: Realty Income, Palantir Technologies, Caterpillar, Lucid Group, Uber Technologies. Then we have Kellanova soars 17% following reports of takeover discussions with Mars. Coinbase dives 14% as major cryptocurrencies rout amid market meltdown. Now, do you remember I was talking about hype, negative hype, and I said you were being played? There has not been a market meltdown, at least not in the S&P 500 at least, and not generally. So there may have been a bit of uncertainty in cryptocurrency markets, but that's, there's your justification. Don't gamble your money, put it into something safe. And if you do feel that you need advice to understand where that might be, then by all means go and seek professional financial advice from somebody qualified to provide it. Unfortunately, that person isn't me. I can really only tell you what I think and what I personally would be inclined to do or not do. But my opinion on cryptocurrency is that it is tantamount to gambling. And I personally would be very, very loath to touch it. I have no money in cryptocurrency at all. The money that I do have invested, for complete clarity, I'll give you complete disclosure. The money that I have invested is mainly, I would say 80% of the money that I have invested is in the S&P 500. Basically using the fund that you see me talk about every week. I have roughly, I would say 20% of my investment. In fact, it's probably less than that. But 20% is probably about the target of my investment is in real estate investment trusts. I have a tiny amount of money invested in, it's not even invested, it's simply saved in premium bonds, which actually don't produce a regular return. They're simply entered into a draw every month, and it's kind of a bit like a lottery. Um, what is kind of unique and useful perhaps with the premium bonds is that um, although they don't produce a return unless you actually win a prize, your money is safe. So it is somewhere that you can put money away. Typically, it's used for building up a fund for children. Um, but in my case, I am literally putting in something like £25 a month. I think that's the minimum, and then the premium bonds that I buy with that are entered into a draw automatically at the end of each month, and you could stand to win, I think, up to £1 million. And the more bonds you have purchased, um, the more chances you have, basically, of winning a prize. So I don't personally don't play the lottery, and I suppose you could say that the premium bonds are, in a sense, almost like a free lottery, and I'm happy enough to engage in that, in as much as it isn't costing me anything other than the fact that I'm not actually making any money on that investment in premium bonds. So yes, I've covered the investment that I have in terms of mainly the ETF. Then I have a little bit in REITs, real estate investment trusts. I have a little tiny fraction. I think currently it's at £75 or something in premium bonds, and that's actually my newest venture, if you like. And I think that is pretty much it. I do have some free cash in the sort of Trading 212 platform, literally £200 or £300, and there is interest payable on cash that isn't actually invested. It's of the order of 5% per year, something like that. But I mean, that's that cash is just there really to just to be available if for whatever reason I'm not able to kind of send money in from my bank account, then at least I can use that to fund or to continue to regularly fund the investment that I do have myself. Right, I'm not too sure why I got onto that. Oh yes, basically I was trying to tell you what I would do, and I was providing you full disclosure on the investments that I have now. I also have, in addition to all of those things, I haven't mentioned that I also have a very small. It's literally worth about £3,000 or something. I have a small. It's known as a SIP. It's a self-invested personal pension with Hargreaves Lansdown, and previously, before I knew what I was doing, or at least before I got serious about the ETFs and understood why ETFs will grow in value, I had basically opened the SIP and I had bought some shares that I thought were going to work out for me. To be quite honest, some did and others did not. And it was basically just luck of the draw. I didn't really understand what I was doing. Then, whenever I figured out the crack with the S&P 500, whenever I realized what the reality is with that, then I moved. I basically sold the shares that I had on the Hargreaves Lansdowne platform and bought the S&P 500 with the money that was still there. So that's that account is kind of almost dormant, and the reason being that to trade whether to sell or buy, there are fees associated with that on Hargreaves Lansdowne. It's something in the order of £11 or £12, if I remember rightly, the last time I looked, and that's for every transaction. So compared to trading 212, where the transaction fees are virtually nil, Hargreaves Lansdowne is extremely expensive, or at least that has been my experience of it. I haven't traded in the past number of years, probably, using that platform, and I won't be either. I'll simply be leaving it until such times as I'm ready to go my own way, so to speak, and at that point then I will see about accessing those funds. So we got to we got to the crypto bit. Just reading the rest of the notifications here. Nvidia down 13% as new AI chips launch gets delayed due to design flaws. Apple down 7% as Warren Buffett offloads nearly half of his stake. So Warren Buffett, I'm not sure if he's chairman or what exactly his role is, but he is the main man behind Berkshire Hathaway. He has basically he's a hero in the investment world in terms of his ability to pick stocks, to pick companies that seem to have fantastic growth potential, whenever other people just don't seem to have realized that potential. I don't seem to have recognized it, and yet Warren Buffett is almost seen as a investing magician, if I could put it that way. So if he has offloaded half of his stake, now I have no idea how much that would amount to, but that kind of action by someone like him is in itself enough to make people nervous, to say the very least, and therefore it's not much of a surprise that Apple has dropped 7%. In fact, I would not be at all surprised if it had not dropped even more than that. But anyway, there we go. Now, interestingly enough, the last time I was online was just 5 days ago, and as you can see, at that time the purchase price was £82.25, and I was only able to buy 1.45 shares, whereas today, with the price now down at 78.25, I was able to buy just over 1.5 shares. So that is the situation today as things stand. As I say, please consider going and having a look at the video that I have linked in the description. Please also consider having a look at the financial education playlist available through the channel homepage, because I think there is plenty of information there which is well worth your consideration. And ultimately, you can never have too much information. Well, maybe you can, but I like to think that the videos that I have curated there are pretty relevant to the topic and well worth your time. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching today. that is going to be it for this week, and I will be back again at some point next week with more. And in the meantime, I suppose I just wanted to point out, I did make the comment in the description for the video that if you're worried, if you, when you see this red candle here, the slight decline that there was, if that makes you nervous, then really I would suggest that maybe you should not be getting into investing, because this is part of it. This is what it's all about. This is actually where money is made, but it's also where money is lost. And until such times as you understand why that's the case, then I would suggest consider trying to find a bank account that provides you with a good rate of return, or some other safer form of investment, because the absolute worst thing that you could possibly do is wait until there's a drop in the market, something like the COVID effect. Can you imagine how many people sold at this point, just before the market started to recover? And obviously if you had been here, the market dropped to there and you sold off, you made a massive loss, potentially. And there will be people that did that. There may not be very many that are willing to admit it. But as I say, if that kind of a drop makes you nervous, consider putting your money somewhere else, because the market does recover, the market will recover, it always has, it always will. And if you're using an exchange traded fund, which is a self-cleansing kind of fund, then the trend, to date at least, has always, over at least the mid to long term, been in the upwards direction. And really you just have to have faith in the process and stick with it. And the best thing you can do is probably, as J.L. Collins might say, to set it and forget it. Set up your investments so that they're going in on a regular basis, and obviously keep an eye on it now and again, but you don't want to be sitting watching the market excessively or anything like that, or there's no point in not looking at it and then when you hear some bad news jumping on and selling everything at the low. You might as well not bother, do you know what I mean? So anyway, as I say guys, with that said, thanks for watching. Have a great end to your Tuesday, and I will see you again at some point next week. Bye for now.